Rob, congratulations on the new jacket. I'm curious what that means to you and what it means to your legacy to be able to say, look, 50 tests, no issues.
It's just another feather in the cap. My dad always told me if you have to cheat to win, don't play, and I've stuck with that my entire career. It's cool to be recognised for it.
I know that over the last couple of years you said, well, I want to start putting this job and its uniqueness to good use and travel the world and fight in places I've never been. So I'm curious how your experience in Paris has been so far.
Paddy is beautiful. I absolutely love it. I didn't think it would hit me as hard as it has. Walking the streets and feeling the culture and feeling the history. I like history as well, especially European history. Big fan of Crusader Kings. It's unreal. It's unreal to be here and to witness it. You can see it everywhere.
Now, I know neither of you are from here, but Marvin Vettori is a European. Do you feel like you're playing the bad guy role, or do you think you'll have enough fans to smooth that over?
No, I'm sure I'll have one or two mates in the crowd screaming for me. Europe's a big place.
Sure.
And I'm pretty sure they all hate each other. So it's I don't think there's a unified front against me.
What do you make of Marvin? Not just as a fighter, but as a person. He's a pretty intense guy. Like sometimes he can get wound up. But what do you make of him, and how have your experiences been with him, if any?
My experiences with him have been great. Like very amicable. We were going to do a sit down. I don't know I can't remember what it's called. What's it called? We were going to do face to face, and I didn't really know what it was. Didn't know whether I wanted to do it or not. But I ran into him down near the microwaves. He was behind me, of course he is, and I just straight up asked him if he wanted to do it, and he was really cool, and I got a real amicable vibe from him, and like we were very friendly. And I started thinking like, well, if we're not going to be sitting there bad-mouthing each other, then what are we doing? I don't want to just hang out, So I just left that. So if that can get to him, because I think he thinks I stood him up, which I did not. But as a person, I don't know him. He's just the name that was given to me in the contract to fight. He's a dude in the top 5 I haven't beat, and I think beating him looks good.
He was in here earlier. He didn't mention that you'd stood him up. So but he did say that he feels he's improving as a fighter and you are not, and that he's hungrier than you are at the moment, at this moment in your careers. I'm curious what your take is on that.
He's wrong. I think I am improving. I'd like to think... I think there's hard facts to prove that I am improving. I think the wins behind going up is hard evidence that I'm improving. I think the way that second fight with Adesanya went is hard evidence that I'm improving. So I think I'm getting better. All right. As for hunger, I know why I'm in the game. That was a whole big thing I did at another stage. But I know why I'm in the game. I know why I want to win. I know why I want to beat him in particular. I know why I do what I do, and there isn't a doubt in my mind of why I'm getting in there with him on Saturday and why I'm going to leave it all in the octagon.
How do you see the fight itself playing out? He said that you won't be able to grapple with him, but you'll probably try, but he doesn't think that's an area of strength for you. How do you see the fight going? Do you think it'll end up in the grapple? Do you think it'll be all over the place? How do you see the fight playing out?
He wants to turn it into a dogfight. He wants to turn it into a barroom brawl. That's his fight style. Get up close, push up against fence, box you up, take you down, wear you out. That's what he does. I'm very different. I'm in, out. I hit hard. I hit fast. I'm technically better than him, I believe. I think I'm going to hit him too much. I think I'm going to be too much for him. I think he's underestimating how good I am, how fast I am, how hard I hit. And I think that'll come out on Saturday.
You mentioned how hard you hit. You do hit hard, but it seems like he's got a head that's pretty good for taking punches. Do you have to sort of think to yourself, well, I can't just guarantee I'm going to finish him because I've seen other guys like Paulo Costa smack him. I've seen Israel hit him a bunch of times and he just doesn't seem to go anywhere. Is that something you have to take into account?
All that means is that I get to hit him more. It's a bonus in some ways. And, I don't know if it's a good thing being able to take that many shots when someone's throwing them. You know, I'm happy though. I'm happy for the challenge. He's got a hard head, and I've been working on me one too. So I look to put that to test.
Last one for me. What's the stakes of this fight, right? Obviously, both of you have your history with Israel. Do you kind of, at this stage, have to look at that fight with Alex and think, well, hopefully there's a new champion so I can get this title shot and get back to the belt? Or do you think, well, if I just keep knocking off the contenders, Israel will have to fight me eventually?
Yeah, I'm not really thinking about it, to be honest. My calendar only goes up to Saturday. And the only thing that I know is that I'm going to be fighting Vettori on Saturday. And I'm going to leave it all there. I'm going to give him the best Rob Whittaker that anyone's ever seen.
Right here. I know you said your calendar only goes up to Saturday, but I'm immediately going to ask you something about that. There was talk about a light heavyweight move. How serious are you about contemplating that?
I feel like that got taken out of context a little bit and blown out of proportion. It's the only move is up. I could not make it down. And it's something, like it's a possibility, but it isn't something that I'm looking towards in the immediate future, just because I'm doing pretty well in the middleweight division still. As well, the light heavyweight division for me is a one-way move because I'm going to do it properly. I'm going to get all the muscle, get the muscle mass, get the movement right at the heavier weight, all of that jazz. So if I do move up to light heavy, that'll be where my career finishes. Though that's the last destination for moving weights wise. But I'm not really paying too much attention to the movement. There isn't a lot to make me want to do that just yet.
And then obviously there is a big middleweight title fight coming up in November. How do you see that playing out with Izzy and Pereira?
Yeah, that's an interesting fight. I do think it's going to be a kickboxing fight with small gloves. You've got a rangy, tall defensive striker versus a rangy, tall offensive striker. It's going to be interesting. You know, he's very tall. He's going to have advantages in the striking department that myself did not have because just the distance he can reach and the length of his arms. But I don't know. I'm very interested in it. It's the small gloves is going to be a big variable in that fight compared to the first two fights they had against each other. So, gotta wait and see.
You know, we saw Francis Ngannou earlier this year surprise a lot of people when he broke out some wrestling. Is there any chance that in that fight you could see Adesanya maybe saying, "Hey, let's make this a true mixed martial arts contest"?
I can't see it. Honestly, I can't see it. Yeah. I can't say it.
Fair enough. Thanks very much.
What do you make of Alex Pereira?
Don't know him.
What do you think about his climb through the division?
Didn't see it.
You know, does it interest you that perhaps there could be a possibility that there is a new champion at the top of the division?
Sorry, what was that? Does
it interest you? Does it motivate you, perhaps, to know that there could be, you know, a change of? There could be a new champion at the top of the division.
Yeah, not really. Haven't really thought about it really. I try not to pay too much attention to the movements and machinations of the division. It kind of does whatever it wants, and it's something I can't control. That's for sure. So I'm just keeping my head down, focusing on things that I can control, which is showing up on Saturday.
And you mentioned about the improvements that you've made, and you said you could see it in your past performance. Can you talk a little bit about the improvements that you have been making and what we can expect to see on Saturday?
I'd like to think I'm a little bit faster, a little bit stronger. I like to think I've got the weight cut and the rehydration, refueling process a little bit better. I'm a little bit happier. I have a little bit more experience. I just feel holistically better, and that's inside the octagon and outside the octagon. I just feel like I've really hit a real fine form of balance in a lot of different aspects, and it's all kind of just coming together.
And of course you were supposed to fight Marvin back in Singapore, but that couldn't go to plan. Can you talk a little bit about why that couldn't go to plan that time? And do you feel that perhaps this time around in France it's worked out better for you?
It's worked out better in the sense that I get to go to France. Really cool. I tried coming to Europe to fight in Europe years ago before the pandemic with Till, but finally made it. Very, very happy because being an international fighter, one of the best things is fighting internationally. So I'm glad it gets to live up to that. In terms of the fight in Singapore, I would have loved to have fought there. I still went there as a guest fighter. It was amazing and electric. It's an amazing place as well. But the injury, I had the injury before the Adesanya fight and it just dragged on. The fight didn't make it any better. And it just didn't heal in time. So I did the right thing, pushed the fight back, and here we are.
Thank you.
Hey Rob, over here. Just a quick question. With you being from the same continent as Tai Tuivasa, is there a connection between you two in this experience of UFC Paris as it's the first time in here? Are you talking and sharing your both experience?
No, not really. We're not really sitting down chatting about what's going on. I don't know about him, but I'm cutting weight, and the last thing I want to do is sit down and have a cuppa with someone, just reminiscing about what we've done in the week. It's no, we're really close. We're friends. It's the best I've seen him, which is good to see. Yeah, Paris is. Everything you're saying, I've done with my wife, not so much Thai.
And did you got some French fan love when you were walking in the streets for the UFC this week?
I haven't left the room too much this week.
Oh, yeah?
This week is cut week, so the calories are kind of low. Everything is just very much by the number. It's just. Yeah, it's different. I'm in work mode now. I just stay in the room, head down, make the weight, then I'll eat some food and relax a little bit. But the times that I did leave last week, that is, I got some fan love. I got some people that wanted photos with me, and it was cool. It was a trip to see that I have fans so far away from home, and it was really cool.
And have you got a message for the French fans just to preview your performance on Saturday?
Yeah, just to all my French fans, I hope you pay attention to my fight. It's going to be, honestly, I do believe you're going to get the best Rob Whittaker, and I believe the best Rob Whittaker beats the best Vettori. So that's what I look to bring on Saturday. You have a beautiful country, and I'm enjoying it.
Thank you, Rob. Good luck.
Yeah. Well, your opponent spoke about your progress as a fighter in development, and he didn't think you grew a lot. But if you turn it around, do you think that he developed himself positively in the last couple of fights?
Hold on, what did you say about the grow? Did he say I didn't grow?
He said that he grew and that you're.
He grew and I did not grow.
Yeah. So the question is, what do you think about his skill set? Do you think that he grown or?
I think, he's. I definitely think he's gotten better, but by how much? He's gotten better at a style that's rough and tumble, so to speak. It's very hard to gauge. Especially when his style relies so heavily on being able to outlast, take the damage than your opponent. You go how do you get better at taking shots? You know what I mean? It's not that that's all he does, but I do think he's gotten better. It'd be crazy for him not to have gotten better. That's what everyone in the sport at the higher end of the division has to do, because everyone below us is hungry and wants to take our spot. So you have to stay ahead of the game. You have to keep evolving. You have to keep getting better. I believe I've gotten better. I believe he's gotten better. I believe that I'm better than him. That's more or less it.
Last question. After this fight, are you planning to go around Europe and visit other countries and cities?
Yes, to an extent. So I got another day here in Paris, which I'm going to get revenge on every bakery I walked past on the whole last week that I was walking down Bercy Village. It's just the smells were killing me. I'm going to go down there and run havoc, and then I'm heading to London for 3 days to just soak that in. Then I got to head home. I've left my 3 young kids with my grandparents, and I think by the end of this stint they're going to be a little weathered. So so I got to head home.
Thanks.
So easy. Thanks, guys.